veteran offensive lineman Joel Bitonio with his thoughts on what he's seen so far from Browns' first-round pick defensive tackle Mason Graham.
He's explosive. I think his football IQ is like tremendous. You know what I mean? Like he knows football and knows how to make plays. I think it took him a couple weeks because he's a two-gap shed guy in college, and now he's penetrating and you know, our defense, like say FSU, and so he's learning that. But from what I've seen and what I've gone against, I gone against Malik most of the time because he mostly plays over me. Yeah. But I've seen some big improvements. I think his pass rush has improved, and his ability to kind of wiggle out of blocks is pretty impressive as well.
Quincy, I know you've been impressed with Graham, so have I. Why do you think we're not talking about him enough?
I mean, it's just not a sexy position, right? Just because it lacks sex appeal doesn't mean that it's not a very important position. But it's not a position where, you know, you can show your friend who kind of keeps up with football, show him this guy on your phone and be like, oh, man, look how amazing he is, right? We even deal with this with somebody who does play more of a marquee position than Myles Garrett, where, like, so many people will just tell you throughout the season, I don't see what he does because, like, he plays edge, right? If he played running back, wide receiver, or quarterback, you know, we would obviously see how good Myles Garrett is at his job. It's just one of those positions that's not super demonstrable, right? Especially in training camp, in preseason. Maybe we will start to get more recognition for him during the regular season, but the fact that, you know, Joe Bitonio speaking highly of him, Wyatt Teller speaking highly of him, he's having success versus a really good Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. He's looked solid throughout camp, and he's been with the first team all offseason, and he's looked like he's belonged the whole time. That is exactly what you were sold when the Browns took Mason Graham, which is somebody who could step in day one, be a starter, and eventually develop into a potential all-pro level guy.
Yeah, and you know what? Schlesinger's another guy that I think is kind of along those same lines. He might even be better than advertised. And you know what? Think about the middle of that defense with those two for as long as they're going to be here. That'll keep Jim Schwartz here for a while.
Oh yeah, hopefully it keeps Tarver here too. He's done a great job with the linebackers. And I think the important thing for like perspective on this, right? When the Browns drafted Joe Thomas and Brady Quinn in 2007, everybody was talking about Brady Quinn during training camp, right? Like that was the big story. He's from Dublin, Ohio. He was a Browns fan growing up. He had a good first preseason game. And then slowly but surely we were like, wow, this Joe Thomas guy, he's really good. That's the story, right? I think something similar like that could happen with Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger, where you're looking at those guys and they just belong out there, right? And you can sometimes just feel it with rookies where you're like, okay, this guy truly understands the rhythm of the game. He's going to be okay. You're not really concerned about him. You can move on to focusing on other guys who might show you a little bit more concern.